Hi guys, welcome back to Black Magic Beauty. My name is Trish and today I'm going to be going over my September empties. So I've been making some pretty good progress in some categories. My body care is still absolutely abysmal. I've actually been thinking about transferring my balance for my makeup and my skincare because both are in the positive and there's really nothing that I can foresee needing anytime in the near future, and transferring those points into my body care balance to try to get my body care back under control. So I'm gonna start with the items that came in this past month, which is honestly very, very little. One of them, actually neither of them I counted against me for points. So one of them was an influencer item. I, of course, forgot to bring them with me today, but there's such a small amount that I'm just going to throw a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about. But I received a lightweight serum lotion from Influencer for free for review. So that came into my inventory, and I'll throw a picture up here. And then I also ended up purchasing a belly care stretch mark kit. And I actually did not charge myself any points for that because even with lotion, I was just getting so itchy and uncomfortable on my stomach. So I ended up purchasing a stretch mark kit from Palmer's, and it's a four-piece kit. It includes a lotion, a belly butter, a cocoa oil, as well as a multi-purpose balm, and I'll throw a picture of that here. And just because that was something I felt like I really needed at the time, just because I was starting to get so uncomfortable even with repeated lotion use, I didn't charge myself any points for that. I just gave myself that as a freebie. But those were the only items that came in this month, and it didn't affect my balance at all. And I am glad that I got that stretch mark kit because I have honestly been much more comfortable since I started using it. So I do feel like that was a fairly necessary purchase, and it ended up costing me like $8. So, nothing came in that I felt like was just frivolous items. And I do feel like over the last couple of months, I've been getting really good about buying any kind of beauty items at all, because I'm just starting to realize how much I really have and how little I need. So let's move on to the items that left my life. So I'll start with body care because there's only one. In the month of September, the only body care item that I completely used up was this grapefruit soap. Now this looks like a loofah. It actually used to be a soap with a loofah on the inside, and I totally finished up the soap. And I was originally thinking about keeping the loofah as a little scrubby, but I realized it is so small and it's kind of flimsy. And I did purchase several months ago now, I purchased that African exfoliating net that I've been using kind of like an exfoliating loofah in the shower, and that one's washable and reusable, and I'm probably going to have it for a long time. So there's really no need for me to keep this flimsy little one kicking around. So I'm just going to get rid of this. But that added 2 points back into my body care inventory. So I went from a -45 balance to a -43 balance. And I'm thinking in October that's going to continue going up, and I'm probably going to end up transferring those points into my body care to kind of zero it out as well. The only thing I can foresee needing for body care anytime in the future is I'm running very, very low on my magnesium bath salts, and I've been kind of really needing those recently because with the pregnancy and the swelling in my feet and my legs, I've been getting very crampy, and taking magnesium baths has helped a lot. So I am planning on purchasing another bag of those salts sometime in the next month, but that's really the only thing I can foresee coming in anytime in the near future. I've got tons of perfume, tons of body wash. I have plenty of lotion. I've got my stretch mark stuff, which is going to last me well into by the time the baby gets here, which is in about a little less than 3 months now. Feels like it's taking forever, and it also feels like it's gonna come way too soon. So mixed emotions there. But yeah, so hopefully transferring my balance over will kind of zero out my body care, and by doing that, I'm really hoping by the end of the year I'll have a pretty even distribution of points at that point. And I am considering continuing this low buy for another year, because one, it's definitely been helping me to kind of second guess my shopping habits quite a bit when I have to consider what points that I have, even if it's like imaginary game show points. When I have to consider the points that I have before I purchase anything, it does make me think about it a little bit more and what's actually necessary. And I don't really feel like I am in a desperate need for anything, so it kind of makes sense for me to continue my low buy. In fact, I looked over my inventory for like skincare, for example. Sorry, there's a random siren going off, but I looked into my inventory at the beginning of the year just to kind of get a gauge for how I'm doing. And just looking at like cleansers, I have purchased one cleanser this entire year. Everything else I've gotten for free through gratis, and I have more cleansers now than I did when I started my low buy, because I'm getting them for free like faster than I can use them, which could potentially be a problem. So I'm actually thinking about going into next year kind of upping the ante on my rules a little bit and still incorporating points into my low buy when I do receive items for free. Not necessarily like charging myself the full 4 points for if I was to purchase an item, but charging myself something so I'm at least keeping some accountability there for the amount of free items that are coming in. I'm kind of playing with the idea, but you know, I'll have a better idea by the time next year comes around, and I will update you guys on what my low buy status is at that point. Going from there, we can talk about my skincare empties. So I finished up quite a few items in my skincare, but most of them are samples. So I'll start with the actual samples that I had. So these are 2 like little blister packs that I got from a coworker from the brand Cyan, I think it's pronounced. I had a vitamin K and arnica cream, and then like a squalene oil. And even though they were blister packs, I'm pretty sure I got like 4 to 5 uses out of both of these, because I don't have very dry skin. I just use like a tiny little bit every time I applied it. And they were actually quite nice. So I would look into this brand again, probably something more suited towards my skin type, but I always love trying out what different brands have to offer. So each one of these, because they were just blister packs, I allowed myself 0.1 points. So not like 1 point, but 0.1, a tenth of a point. So this gave me another 2/10 of a point. I did finish my Mandelic Brightening Serum Deluxe sample. This actually took a surprisingly long time to finish. I think I was working on this for probably about 2 weeks before I finished it. I did really like this, and I have started working on the full size currently, so that's 1 more point. I did also finish my CosRx Snail Mucin. This is another deluxe sample. I was using this quite a bit, but this took me forever to finish. I think I was working on this on and off for a few months. So I can't imagine how long the full size lasts, but I would probably get this again. The only other item I have by CosRx currently is their peptide serum. And I use that occasionally. I haven't been super consistent with it just because I have so many other serums that I'm working on, and I'm trying to get a lot of these like little ones out, so I have just less stuff kicking around. I do like it quite a bit. I think I actually like the snail mucin better though. So if I had to pick one, I would get the snail mucin again, but I have been enjoying the peptide serum while I have it. But it is a huge bottle, like this big. I've had it for months. I've been working on it inconsistently for months, and I've used up maybe that much of the bottle. So that's going to be around for for quite some time before I get around to purchasing anything else. But this I gave myself another point for. I also finished up one of my multiple samples of my hydrating moisturizer, which I absolutely adore. I purchased like a professional size of this moisturizer from SkinScript so that I have like a nice hydrating night cream throughout the winter time. And it's the only night cream I have currently, and I love it. It's not too heavy for my skin, but it still feels very, very nourishing. It smells absolutely divine. It's a pretty simple moisturizer, but I just really, really enjoy it. So I finished up this. I'm working on one more. I think I have another 1 to 2 samples before I actually dip into the full size, and that full size is 6 ounces. Like, it's huge. It's a jar that's like this big and like this thick. That's gonna last a very long time. So that was one more point. And then I also finally finished up my Ordinary Cream Cleanser, which I opened up and I scraped every last bit of it out. And because this was a full size, I gave myself 2 points for that. So in total, I now have 20.3 points for my skincare balance, most of which is probably going to be transferred over to my body care. I'm thinking about doing that next month after I bank a couple more points. The next item I have to talk about is not included in my low buy because it is a hair care item, but I did want to show it because it's moving out of my inventory. I did finish up my little Aveda sample of their exfoliating shampoo. This was nice. I wouldn't buy it though. I do love Aveda products most of the time. Some of them just don't really hit right for me though. And this one, I think the problem with this one is because it's like an exfoliating scalp serum shampoo. When you're trying to work it into your scalp, it doesn't foam up like an ordinary shampoo. And because of that, you have to use a ton in order for it to feel like it's really penetrating your hair, especially if you have a lot of hair like me. So that sample container, I'm pretty sure was like 1, maybe 2 uses. I'm pretty sure I cut it open on like the first use, which tells me if I bought the full size. And Aveda products are pretty expensive. I would run through it way too quickly, and I just don't really have time to do that. Like, if I'm gonna do an exfoliating treatment on my scalp, typically I'm gonna pay for them to do it while I'm getting my hair done and I have the time put aside for that, or I'm just gonna use one of those little scrubby scalp massagers. I am not typically very fussy when it comes to my hair, so, but that moved out of my inventory. No points for that because it's a hair care item. So finally, we have moved on to makeup. And I actually had a very good month for this. So I had one sample that I used up, which was my Ulta Beauty lip stain. I continued to use this until the little applicator was like dry and not depositing any product on when I used it. So this is 1 point in my low buy. I also finished up my Buxom lip gloss. This was in the shade Danny. Now you can still see a little bit at the bottom, but like I was scraping and scraping and scraping and like nothing was coming out. I even tried to take the stopper out of this and I was having a lot of trouble getting the stopper out. So I just decided, okay, that's done. And the way I used this was I was pairing this with my Rose Incorporated lipstick from the Graveyard Project pan. That lipstick was a little bit too warm toned for me, but when I paired it with a pink gloss, it turned into this really pretty like rosewood shade, which was a lot more wearable for me. So that's how I panned this. I still have the rose lipstick kicking around a little bit. There's a couple more uses in that project that I have to do before I hit my goal on that, and then it's going to be very close to being done. So I'm just going to find a different pink lip gloss to pair it with to finish that up. But that was another 2 points. I also finished my Ulta Beauty, this is really dirty, I'm sorry, my Ulta Beauty Juice Infused Lip Oil. This was just a clear lip oil. It looks kind of red because I was pairing it with different colors of lipstick. It was sort of an impulse purchase at the beginning of the year because my lips were just super dry with a liquid lipstick that I was wearing. So I just popped into Ulta and I grabbed this real quick. Their lip oils are fine. They don't really do anything special for me. I'd honestly rather just use a gloss or a balm, depending on what I'm looking for, but it did the job, it's done. That's another 2 points. And then finally, I also finished up my Mario Badescu facial spray. Now this is technically a skincare item, but I did have this in my makeup inventory because the way I was using it to like wet my brushes and wet my sponge when I did my makeup, sort of like a setting spray. So this I'm counting as a makeup item. All in all, since this was 2 points, I have 2, 4, 6, 7 points added to my makeup bank at this point, which gives me a total of 16 points for my makeup low buy, most of which are also going to be moved into my body care just because that's so absolutely insane at this point. But I think I had a pretty good month. Very little came in. The couple of things that did come in will definitely get used. And I am starting to see some progress where I'm really moving stuff out. I'm getting a lot of those little samples that have just been sort of floating around my house out of the way, and that's starting to feel really good. So I'm happy with it. And next month, I think my body care balance will be back down to normal, but that also is going to mean zeroing out my skincare and my makeup, which is fine because there's really nothing I need in those categories either. But thank you so much for watching. That's it for this update, and I will see you next month. All right, bye-bye.